Welcome back to the Our 2 Cents podcast, the show where your local professionals sit down with an array of guests to hear their story and impart some wisdom for both business and life-improving skills. This is your place to hear business and community leaders discuss relevant topics that matter to you.
Well, hello, listeners. It has been a while since I've recorded an episode, and today I'd like to kind of briefly tell you about my story and kind of go over some end-of-year checklists that every business owner should be doing around this time. So I've been in accounting for about 12, 13 years. I did bookkeeping in my undergrad at CSUB for my family's local businesses here in town. And then when I graduated, I kind of took on for full time being their, controller and operations manager, kind of running the financials and learning the ins and outs of business. I also took some job at Greenway Farms and when I was a data analyst and just, got well prepared for life, as my first big girl job from college, like I would like to say. After a while, I decided that I didn't really want to be a data analyst, and I really did like business and, kind of working the ins and outs of the financials for companies. So I decided to work full time for my family, and I did that for several years when it came to a point that I decided I wanted to open up Atlas Financial Solutions. From there, I knew that I wanted to help. I was gifted in doing bookkeeping and tax work and knowing the different business operational laws and things like that and HR updates, etc. And I decided, okay, I'm going to offer this to small businesses. I went to a couple of my friends that had businesses and, I was like, hey, is this a service that you would like? And a lot of them were like, actually, yes, there's a kind of a need. Sometimes it's too intimidating to go to a CPA firm or a CPA firm charges way too much an hour. And I can't afford that. And I'm just a small business owner and I really need a middle ground, solution. And, hearing that from many business owners, I decided to provide that solution. So I started Atlas Financial Solutions with being the middle ground from the CPA firms to small business owners. I did free discovery calls, which I still do today. And I offer them tons of free webinars, free newsletters, and my Instagram page, which is used primarily to get out the word about tax law changes and bookkeeping one-on-one tips. I do many speaking engagements, again, trying to educate small business owners on the proper what they need to be doing in their bookkeeping. I have built a name for myself doing this because I have partnered with the community and really been a resource to them to help many small businesses, especially during the pandemic, grow into the bigger firms that they are today. In the community, a lot of the larger CPA firms even partner with us because they trust our bookkeeping work and they trust that they know that these small business owners are in good hands as they realize that their fees might be a little too high for a small business owner. And so I tend to be a really good common ground for the small business owner who might have a couple questions here and there to just get them started in their business. So with that, I worked by myself in the first year and then I got one employee and now we're up to 6 employees and we keep growing and more certifications later, payroll certifications, sales tax certifications, tax licensed and bonded. And, we've built this firm to what it is today and I'm extremely proud of my staff and I'm thankful for all the partners, everyone on the podcast and everyone that's at the Mill Rock Way Suites. We've, been able to cultivate a community, a one-stop shop, if you will, for all of our clients. Between John's CPA expertise in tax and my small business and bookkeeping and, individual tax expertise, between Kyle Jones' law offices, between evictions, and he also does trust and he also does personal injury, between Scott's mortgage loans and real estate trends and, everything housing and loans related. And then you have Troy who brings in all the 401k and all the benefits. And then you also have Dave who brings in all the marketing perspectives. I really, truly believe that we've, cultivated a one-stop shop. Proud to be a part of the podcast family. With that said, like I mentioned earlier, I want to kind of give business owners a year in business checklist to kind of help them close out their books, especially if they're not working with a bookkeeper, or even if you are working with a bookkeeper, this is something that you should be definitely looking into. So first and foremost, if you paid anybody over $600 in the year, that's not a corporation or somebody overseas, and you didn't pay them with a third-party app, you definitely should be giving them a 1099 in January 31st to be specific. That means you need to be collecting a W-9 from them. them. So that gives all of their personal information on a form so that you can provide them a 1099 with the amount of money that you paid them during the year. So it is 1099 season, as we like to say it, so make sure you're collecting those W-9s. The IRS did come up with a update for the 1099K, and the update was that they're just not going to do the $600 limit that they told all of us for the whole year they were going to do. And they have said that they're going to keep it at the original amount of the $20,000 or 200 transactions or more. So if you have a third-party app and you're collecting money and you get paid over $20,000 or you have over 200 transactions, you will be receiving a 1099K for 2023. For 2024, you will only be receiving a 1099K if you had $5,000 or more on a third-party app. And so again, that is the new IRS update as of November 2023, which is crazy because my team has been getting all throughout the year ready for this 1099 madness. The IRS even in October sent out a statement saying that there's going to be hundreds of thousands wrong 1099Ks going out and how to fix it on the tax return, and then they go and change it. Well, it is beneficial for many people. As I've been preaching to most of my clients and on social media, if you're a sole proprietor, meaning you're a photographer, you're selling something at those pop-up events and I see you definitely need to be separating your business from your personal. Don't be using a Venmo account that's personal. You need to be using for your business because these 1099K is not a joke, and eventually they're going to be sending it to everybody. So make sure you're not commingling your third-party apps. So those are the two kind of biggest changes. Another big change is minimum wage is going up to $16 an hour for most industries. Other industries, it's going to $18 to $20 an hour. I know in the medical industry, if you're classified as medical industry, it is $20 an hour. And so again, making sure that you're getting payroll set up in the next few weeks here to get that new minimum wage compliance. In addition, a huge update was the sick leave. So right now, California mandated law is that employees, part-time or not, or full-time, will receive 24 hours of sick leave. No required medical note. They can take sick leave at any time and they have 24 hours. Well, the state of California has updated that to 40 hours of sick leave. So you need to make sure that you are updating your payroll system to allow for the 40 hours of sick leave. And just a reminder that you should be tracking that on their pay stubs so that they can legally see how many hours of sick leave that they have. So those are kind of the big hitters. A reminder about the 1099s if you paid somebody over $600. The reminder about the 1099K thresholds, and then minimum wage and sick leave increases. So now we've got that out of the way. Let's talk about, again, how we're going to close out our end of year business. So first, you're going to follow up with any unpaid invoices, making sure you get that money before the end of the year. And you're going to pay any overdue bills that you have pending that you need to pay out. You are going to reconcile any checking accounts, any savings accounts, credit cards, and loans. That's all important to make sure that your accounting software matches the bank statements to the penny. You also are going to perform any physical end of year cycle counts or inventory counts if you have inventory. You're going to clean up your profit and loss and balance sheet, making sure you get rid of any duplicate chart of accounts. You know, if you have job supplies and supplies, essentially it's the same thing. So you're going to combine accounts and get rid of any duplicates you might have. You're also going to record any adjusting journal entries that you might receive from your CPA. So that might be depreciation or any adjusting, journal entries that I might need to do to capture other expenses that weren't recorded in the business. You're going to essentially review your profit and loss and balance sheet. And what I mean by review your profit and loss and balance sheet, I mean this. On your balance sheet, as we all know, it shows assets, liabilities, and equity. For your assets, you're going to make sure that your checking account balances match to the statement. Your saving account balances match to the statement. If you have petty cash, where did you spend that petty cash? Do you have petty cash or is it zero? Do you have equipment? If you have equipment or assets or trucks or vehicle, is there depreciation? Essentially the capitalization rate for the IRS is $2,500. So anything over $2,500 should be capitalized on the balance sheet, and you should be putting it under assets. So making sure that your assets are correct. Now we're moving on to our liabilities, making sure that our credit cards match up to the payment date and that everything is accounted for on the credit card and that we've paid those off as much as we can and that it's true to the balance, that our loan balances are also true, that we're not overstating that balance on the balance sheet by including interest paid and making sure that we're splitting off the interest paid onto the profit and loss for interest expenses. Any notes payable or anything else notice that we have sales tax liability, payroll liabilities, all of those are all closed out by the end of the year and everything's paid in full. So that's the liability section. The equity section, making sure that your retained earnings is proper, making sure that your distributions and contributions, or if you're a sole proprietor, your investments or your owner's pay is all correct, that you're not leaving anything on the table. You're looking over your owner's draw to make sure that anything isn't in there that is an expense for the business, and you're just reviewing your equity. That's just one process of reviewing the balance sheet. Now we're going to review the profit and loss. You're going to look over all of your income. If you use third-party apps, you're going to make sure you have all those journal entries for all those fees and that you're capturing the gross amount of all your income that you've received. Once you've moved on from income, you're going to look at all your different expense categories, making sure nothing's duplicated, that there's nothing missing, that you didn't miss rent 1 month, or you didn't miss utilities for 1 month, or if you paid it from your personal card 1 month because your business account didn't have it, that you're capturing that expense in your books. And again, just reviewing your expenses. Do they have vendor names? Is everything tied out? Is anything duplicated that shouldn't be in there? Reviewing all of your expenses. That's going to be really, really important because your net income on your profit and loss is essentially what you're being taxed on. And so making sure your profit and loss is perfect is definitely going to help you with your tax return. We're then going to look at our budget that we created the previous year. We're going to do actual to budget to see where we went over budget or under budget. And then that's going to allow us to help create a 2024 budget. And with that, we can then make better business decisions. We're going to analyze our cash flow from that budget, making sure that we have proper money coming in for the expenses that are going out. And then we're going to be able to analyze what estimated tax payments we have to pay by January 15th. Again, reminder, January 15th is the last quarter to pay for estimated tax payments, and then we start a whole new quarter after that. So make sure that you're looking at, again, your profit and loss and that net income, and you're, discussing with your tax professional about what your estimated tax payments are. We're going to then move over to business organization. You're going to update any standard operating procedures, any contracts, anything you need to tell your clients that you're changing procedure-wise. You're going to be sending out those notices. You're going to be setting 2024 business goals, making sure you reach those business goals. You're going to be updating any mailing addresses and any change of addresses. You're going to declutter that email inbox. I know that I have hundreds of emails just kind of sitting around that I need to get to on kind of, is this junk or not junk, and kind of just clearing it up. You're also going to pay the $800 to the Franchise Tax Board in California if you're an LLC or corporation by March 15th. And also if you're an LLC or corporation nationwide, this is a reminder that you are going to have to file a beneficial ownership information report. Now, there hasn't been much information on this yet on what the report looks like. All I'm really clear is that you're going to go to FINCEN.com. It's a part of the IRS website, FinCEN, and you're going to file a report about your LLC and your corporation on ownership and addresses, etc. What I've been told is that if you had an LLC or a corporation before 2024, you have essentially a year to file that form. If you form an LLC or corporation after 2024, the first year in 2024, you have 90 days to file this form. And then starting in 2025, you have only 30 days to file this form. What I've been told is it's a 1 year. It's not it's not annually. You're just filing it one time. And then if you have any type of change of ownership or address, you have 30 days to comply to update this report for the IRS. Essentially, there are penalties for not doing this and a possible jail time also for not doing this. What I've read is that this is to help combat money laundering. So they're trying to see if you have offshore accounts, if you're claiming all the businesses, and they're just trying to cut down on money laundering. And that's the purpose for this. So those are some business operational things. In addition to that, make sure you're filing your statement of information with the California State Secretary. Usually LLCs, it's bi-yearly, and corporations, it's yearly. So make sure that you're doing that. And if you are a corporation, make sure you're having your annual minutes. That is a compliance that you need to file every single year. So make sure that you're doing your annual minutes and your statement of information. Technology, making sure that you have backups. So, hiring an IT company to have a server, or even just having an external backup, making sure you're backing up your documents. It's always good. I mean, you should be definitely backing it up more than just yearly, but it's really good at the end of the year to be doing the backups. Changing any old passwords, making sure that you're getting up to date. There's been a lot of fraud and things happening, especially over the holidays. So making sure you're just updating those passwords to stay safe. And then just make sure you're updating your virus protection and any software updates that you might need. 2020. Get ready for the new year. Marketing strategies. Obviously, you're going to brainstorm some upcoming marketing incentives and, making those available to your clients. You're going to want to look over your branding, making sure that your message is clear and that it is the branding message you're trying to tell your clients and customers. You're going to want to make sure you're scheduling, photo shoots and video shoots to get the branding message out there. I know many people have already opened their photography books for the year, and you can start booking those already. You're going to want to make sure that you're looking at your websites, your Instagram pages, your LinkedIn pages, Twitter page, whatever social media, TikTok, and that you're updating any information. So if there's, staff that's no longer there, or if you no longer offer the service or you offer a new service, that you're just updating all of those websites and social media platforms to make sure that everybody knows what you do offer. And then you're going to want to also kind of send some client appreciation gifts. Now, obviously this isn't mandatory, but we do this here in our office. We have a big annual holiday party for our clients every single year. It's so much fun. We have a live band and open wine bar and food. And we also like to send little, holiday Christmas cards and little things, just again, to show appreciation. Many other clients I've seen, they do little baskets of goods that they send out to people, or they'll do like Yeti tumbler with their logo on it, or just things, polos, anything that's, again, showing appreciation to your clients. This is now the time, kind of end of year, to do that. Human resources, we kind of already went over this. The sick leave increased to 40 hours, making sure you're updating that, making sure you're updating the minimum wage increase to your area. You're also going to want to make sure you update your employee handbook. And as you update that you're giving a copy to your employees and that they have signed that they received that copy. You're going to want to make sure you plan any necessary staff training. If you have 5 employees or more in the state of California, you do have to offer sexual harassment training, at least an hour to your employees. And so making sure you get that on your book at this time is, ready for the new year is a good example to do that. Again, when you're updating that employee handbook, reviewing any employee benefit changes, if you need to increase benefits or not. Now, there's been a lot of talks and a lot of debates on benefit changes for small business owners. So they have said that they are going to start doing where over a certain amount of employees that it's going to be required that you offer, it's an automatic in for your employees, a 401k plan, and that your employees have to opt out of it. And so this is drastically going to be changing. Right now in the state of California with Cal Savers, if you have 5 employees or more, you have to be into offering them a retirement plan or entering them into Cal Savers. I think starting in the new year, if you have 1 employee or more, I actually think it's starting in 2025. If you have 1 employee or more, they're going to start automatically where you have to put your employee on some type of retirement plan and they have to opt out of that retirement plan. It is also said that you have to match it 3% and that it increases 1% every year up to 15%. So these are definitely some big changes in employee benefits. I'm assuming Troy here is going to be doing some employee benefit updates for end of year, and I'm excited to kind of learn a little bit more about all of these changes and more employee changes. But again, updating your employee handbook and staying compliant with these employee benefits is definitely a good solution. If you haven't already, I know that Troy personally has a podcast on all HR things, and so making sure that you go follow that and staying connected is definitely the best solution. You're then going to want to issue any end of year bonuses. So as you issue these, they should be issued through payroll. So you shouldn't just be giving them like a refund check or reimbursement check or whatever. It should be actually ran through payroll. Now you can give them gift cards or, like I said, little promotional goodies and bags and things like that. That doesn't have to be run through payroll. But if you are giving them an end of year bonus, please run it through payroll. And that seems to be out kind of all of our human resources. So these are types of things that we connect with our clients with. Obviously, we also go with what changes are you going to be having? Are you going to have any rate changes? Which I know a lot of people are increasing their rates this year because of inflation and interest rates. And it's just, with minimum wage going up and sick leave going up, it's just so much harder to not increase your pay, prices. So making sure you send out those notices of price increases before the new year is always a good idea. Contacting with your bookkeeper or your CPA, telling them if you got any new bank accounts, any new loans, any new assets, just communicating with them like this is what, kind of have changed or what I want to do. Or if you're planning to scale, if you're planning to hire your first new employee, you're going to want to make sure you're setting all these steps up correctly and doing it now before the new year starts. That's kind of everything that I have for you on end of year checklist. Obviously, this isn't, a full checklist and everything that you should be doing, and each business is different. And if you did have any questions from this segment, definitely, book a free consultation with me or give me a message or a phone call, and we can definitely, put you on the books to see if everything you're doing is proper, or we can even help you close out your end of year. We do have a promotion here in December. It's 10% off in the end of year cleanup. We did have a 20% off for November, but in December it's 10%, and then in January it's no discount. So if you come to us in January for us to clean up your books, it's essentially full price, and we typically do sometimes have a waiting list to clean up books. But this is definitely a good start and some good updates for things for you guys to know. So kind of in summary, we went over you need to start collecting your W-9s for 1099s. We went over the 1099K law changes, which for 2023 is $20,000, and for 2024 it's $5,000. We also talked about how minimum wage is increasing and how sick leave is increasing to 40 hours. We then kind of went over just some different things that you should be doing at your end of year to make sure that your end of year is going pretty smooth. Well, I appreciate your time. If there's anything I can do, I'm always here. All right, thank you, listeners. I appreciate you following me in my journey.
The show has been brought to you by the Law Office of Kyle Jones, Troy Burton with the Lynn Company, CPA John Duffield, Scott Hansen Real Estate Lender, broker and investor, Dave Plivlich, President and CEO of the Marcom Group and MarcomBranding.com, and Amanda DiGiacomo, President of Atlas Financial Solutions. You've been listening to the Our 2 Cents podcast. Check out the show notes for links and more information about the show. Also visit our website at our2centspodcast.com or catch us on Instagram at Our 2 Cents Podcasts. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share with others.